Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. I will be narrating over this as I would for the rest of the Infinity Towers because it is just super RNG based. Anyway, this is the team that I'm running. I wanted to do a 6-star clear. Actually, I was super close to one earlier on, but it kind of failed because a Nama AoE hit and killed like a couple of my Espers. It was just extremely unfortunate. And it took me about another 1.5 hours of trying and failing. And I just gave up and I just decided, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do 5 stars. So I'm gonna allow myself to control the enemy Esper so that this is a little bit more manageable and I do not waste too much time. I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to show that the Fatum sisters are quite reliable for AP reduction. And do take note that my Fatum sisters and my TA as well, they are both not skilled up at all. So they have long cooldowns on their kits. But what you quickly realize is it is still fine, everything goes smoothly, all the AP reductions are pretty cool. You can see at the bottom of the AP bar there, you can see the AP movement going back and forth. It's really quite insane, but it's really unfortunate that I couldn't do a 6 stars for this showcase. But anyway, let me just explain a little bit about what's happening here. So starting with Tia, she is my speed lead. She also has a lot of AP reduction. She has an absorb of 30% on her third skill for my entire team, which is really good. And she also absorbs AP on her first skill, which is very essential in some cases because I'm trying to nitpick the enemy Espers just to make sure that all of their AP are generally low so that my Melanie can land her petrifications and all that, but I'll get to that in just a bit. So Tia also has a stun on her second skill, which is also quite helpful, especially since I allow myself for 5-star clear here. So essentially we have a lot of control in this lineup. But let's move on to the next Esper, who is my Melanie. So Melanie truly shines because of her passive, which allows all of her attacks to reduce AP, which means that her third skill, which already reduces AP on its own, is able to reduce even more AP because of her passive. So Melanie's third skill can actually reduce 45% of the enemy's AP so long as they have a debuff, which is going to be the slow debuff in most cases. And when the enemies drop below 30% AP, they get petrified instantly, which is really insane. So she has a lot of AP control, she has petrification, and even on her first skill itself, it does have some AP reduction as well and a slow debuff. But maybe one thing to take note of is the tricky on this first wave. He could petrify your Melanie if you return any debuff, so it's quite important that you control not just the tricky, but I mean like just every single Esper on the other side. And then next we have Ira, who is probably one of the best AP controllers, if not the best AP controller in this game. So her second skill and her third skill, like I've showcased before, it has this infinite combo where you can just throw your third skill for AP reduction and then bounce back to your second skill on yourself to reset your cooldowns so that you can go back into your third skill. So you're just bouncing back and forth, so on and so forth. And the best part is it's not luck driven, so you do not need ocean waves. You can use either Windwalker, you can even use the Zeus set, whichever works. So she's incredibly powerful for AP control over here. And then next, of course, we have our Sender, who is, in this build that I'm using right now, he has 80%, about 79% accuracy, with a lot of just like speed, crit damage, attack. Okay, rather low on the attack power, but at least quite high in terms of crit rate and crit damage. So he will be our main DPS, but honestly, we do not really need Sender here because our AP control is just over the top. But he's kind of useful to speed things up a little bit. But anyway, I think if we have Lucas here, it should be a little bit more manageable to get a 6-star clear, I think. And last but not least, of course, the star of the show today, Fatum Sisters. She has AP control on her third skill, she has AP control on her first skill as well, she has speed up buff, she has healing, she has defense buff, a lot of stuff on her kit. So I'd say that she's pretty decent for the Temporal Tower and the Infinity Tower. I think that's probably where she shines the most. And what you notice is that she does really well in terms of AP control. She really reduces the AP of the enemy's lineup. So I think if I fully skill her up, I think our performance will be a lot better and it'll be a lot easier to achieve that 6-star clear, that's for sure. So both Tia and Fatum Sisters kind of need to be fully skilled up in order for them to be fully efficient here. The AoE AP control is just so important if you want to do a 6-star clear. So I think this could be a potential future project of mine just to fully skill them up, just so that I can partake inside the Infinity Tower and clear it a little bit easier as well. Anyway, for those wondering, this floor is actually quite simple, but you do need AP control because the most difficult part about this floor is kind of like the first wave. So the first wave has a Hyde, has a Tricky, has a Fabrice as well, which kind of screws you up if you do not control them enough. And the thing is, you cannot control Hyde with stuns, you cannot control him with petrifications, freezes, all that kind of stuff. You can only AP manipulate Hyde. So he is something that you really need to keep in check all the time. So it might not be so easy to bring Espers like Anesidora, Longmian, all those kind of hard CC Espers. So AP control seems to be the right way, and these are the Espers that generally perform the best for AP control. So long as you can beat the first wave, you shouldn't have too much problem with the second wave. But yes, I did hit a hiccup earlier on, and like I said, I was not able to control the Nama, and therefore he just nuked my entire team. But in most cases, the second wave should be a lot easier because even though the normal is just like height and cannot be hard controlled, but his typing makes him a lot easier to AP control because there are a couple of flow type Espers here that would be elementally disadvantaged when attacking height, but not so for attacking normal. So that's basically it. That's it for this run. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derry Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.